Are you wondering how to turn YouTube videos into SEO optimized blog posts automatically with the help of AI? Well, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you an AI automation that I created step by step of how you can monitor any YouTube channel and repurpose a video automatically once it's published into an SEO optimized blog post straight to your website that looks just like this. So be sure to stick around for the entire video. And if this happens to be your first time to the channel, welcome. My name is Ryan, and my mission is to help marketers and content creators navigate the overwhelming world of artificial intelligence. And the reality is, AI is going to replace millions of marketing and content jobs, but it doesn't have to be you. And if you want to stay ahead, I recommend getting my free AI Marketing Essentials Guide. That includes my favorite AI tools, prompts, templates, and more. And you can get my free guide in the video description or pinned comment below. So if you're brand new to AI automations, I will leave my beginner's guide to automations in the video description below. And also everything that I'm going to mention in this tutorial can be found inside my AI Marketing Insiders community. This is only $1 to join, and I leave all of my different automation prompts, templates, JSON files, etc. So everything that I'm going to talk about in this tutorial and all my automation tutorials can be found inside my community. All right, so let's dive in and start building this YouTube to blog post automation. And I'm using make.com in this example. I'll leave the link for that in the description below. That's what I'd recommend if you're getting started to AI automations, but this process also works for N8N, Zapier, Gumloop, etc. So if you're following along and signed up for make.com, on the top right, you'll see create a new scenario. I'm going to click that. This will introduce us to our new scenario. I'm going to drag this first module off to the left for organizational purposes. I'm going to rename this. I'm going to do YT to blog post demo, YouTube to blog post demo. And I always like to click save right here just to save it right away so I don't forget. So let's add our first module. I'm going to click the plus icon and I'm going to search for YouTube. That's the very first module we want to add. Click on YouTube, and the trigger we want is watch videos in a channel. So I'm going to click that. And this is going to take you through a couple settings that you need to configure. Number one, you need to establish a connection to YouTube. So obviously mine's already connected, but yours won't be if you're building this for the first time. So go ahead and click add and then connect your Google account this way. If you run into issues with that, I'll leave a troubleshooting video that I found helpful in the description below. Now we need the channel ID of the YouTube channel that we want to watch. This could be your channel, which is what I'm going to show, or it could be a competitor's, a company's channel, etc. And what you want to do here is click ID Finder, and we need a channel handle. So what you want to do is I'm going to copy and paste my handle. So if you go to the YouTube URL of the channel you want to monitor, copy and paste the handle right here, paste it back right here in make.com, click OK, and then by default, it will automatically populate the channel ID. That's a really unique feature that I like. And now for the rest of these, I'm going to leave this blank. Publish before blank, publish after blank. I'm going to put the limit on 1 for now, click save, and then I'm just going to click save right here, and then I'm going to click save again. So the next step is to add a module that can scrape YouTube video transcripts. And there's a few ways you can do this, but what we want to do is click add another module. I like to use one called Dumpling AI. I've had a lot of success with this. They have a pretty good free plan, but there's another way you can do this called Appify. Appify has a huge ecosystem of web scrapers, not only for YouTube, but for TikTok and other mediums. So whether you want to use Appify or Dumpling AI, whatever you prefer there. But I'm going to show you Dumpling AI in this example. So I'm going to type in Dumpling, click Dumpling AI. I'm going to scroll down, and what we want here is under web data, get YouTube transcripts. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now, once you click that, we need to establish a connection with a Dumpling AI account. So I'd recommend going over to dumplingai.com. I'll leave a link to this in the video description below and simply sign up for a free account. Now, it can get very expensive with these YouTube transcript scrapers, which I don't like whatsoever. But the nice part here is that you get 250 free credits, like I'm showing you on the bottom left of my screen. And each time you scrape a video, it's only 2 credits. So you do get a lot of free credits with Dumpling AI, which is really cool to see. So that's why I like to recommend this to if you're doing this for the first time. So sign up for a free Dumpling AI account, click add, establish your connection using an API key. So inside Dumpling AI, you'll see API keys after you sign up for an account. And then what you'll want to do simply is go ahead and click generate new secret API key, give it a name, and then click create key. You'll see I've already done that in this example. So what I would do is copy and paste my API key. So I'm going to do test key, create key. I'm going to copy this, and then you would come back and then paste that API key in right here and then click save. I'm not going to do that because I already have a connection established. Now what we need to do is add the YouTube video URL. And this is a very important detail that you do not want to skip or miss out on. So what you want to do for the YouTube video URL is you want to paste in the following. You want to do the normal youtube.com/V equals. This is the default URL for every YouTube video that exists as far as I understand. Now, what you need to do after this equals part here is click video ID. This is going to pull the video ID from the previous YouTube module. And then for the rest of these, just leave the timestamps, leave it on 5, preferred language English, and then go ahead and click save. And then I'm going to click save again. Now for the next step of this automation, I'm going to go ahead and click add another module. What I want to do is I actually want to establish a router, and you're going to see why I'm doing this here in a little bit. I'm going to drag this over to the left, and on top, this is where I'm going to add my AI module that I want to repurpose my YouTube video into an SEO optimized blog post. Now you can use OpenAI for this. So if you type in OpenAI, you can definitely use their models like GPT 4.1, GPT 4o, etc. Or you can use Claude's models. And in my opinion, Claude actually does perform better at copywriting, ideation, repurposing, things of that nature. But again, it's up to you and it's your preference. Just know that some of the API prices with Claude's models are a little more expensive than what you get with OpenAI's general models. So I'm going to type in Claude. And then what I'm going to do is click Anthropic Claude, and then I'm going to click Create Prompt. Now, I already have my connection established to my Anthropic account. And if you do not, what you'll want to do is you'll want to come to Anthropic Council. So this is council.anthropic.com. I'll leave a link to that in the video description below. And then once you sign up for a free account, you want to go ahead and click billing here, and you need to add some money to your account. I'd recommend adding like $5, $5 to $10, somewhere in there. So nothing too significant. You'll see I have less than $10 in my account, and I've actually had this for quite a bit now. And what you want to do is once you add some money in your Anthropic Council account, go ahead and click API keys on the left-hand side. You'll see I already have one established, but obviously you won't if this is the first time. You'll click create key. Just leave it in your default workspace, and we can do, name it whatever you want. So I'm going to do make demo. Click add, and then you'll want to copy this API key, come back to make.com, click add. You're going to add that connection there, and then you would paste that API key right here and click save. Obviously, I'm not going to do that because my connection is already established. So I'm going to come back to Anthropic Council. I'm going to go ahead and delete this API key right here. Let's go back to make. And now once your connection is established with Anthropic, the next thing that we need to do is select our model. And just from my experience, Claude Sonnet 4 is one of the best, if not the best model out there right now, in my opinion, for copywriting, long form, short form, repurposing long form to short form, etc. Excuse me. But what we want to do first is actually do Claude Haiku 3.5. Reason I'm doing that is because this model is significantly cheaper than Claude Sonnet 4, and we always want to test our automations first before we just start using them in the real world and for application. So I'm going to leave it at Claude Haiku 3.5. For tokens, I'm just going to leave it at 1,000. I'm going to click add message. For the role, we want user, and then I'm going to click add content. And then for the type of content, I'm going to click text. And this is where we're going to add our text of where the magic happens from repurposing a YouTube video into an SEO optimized blog post. And you're probably wondering, well, what the heck do I put in this text box? And remember, the goal of this is to repurpose a YouTube video into an SEO optimized blog post with best practices for something that will actually move the needle and rank high for a specific target keyword. Now, in my community, I already have some of these prompts here that I've tested, I'm using for some of my other automations. So I'm going to copy and paste this one that I have for a blog post, come back here, paste this into the text box, but there's some important things that I need to change here. I have some placeholders, right? So for the transcript, I need to find that transcript that Dumpling AI is scraping. So I'm going to click transcript under Dumpling AI. That's what I want to tell it, what YouTube video transcript to actually scrape and use in your outputs. For target keyword, come up with one target keyword related to the title. Well, I want the video title, right? I want a keyword based on that YouTube video title. For the blog post title, I like to leave this exactly the same as the YouTube video title. And I also want to come down here and say, for the SEO title, kind of relate it to the YouTube video title. For the meta description, I want to relate this to the YouTube video description. You see where I'm going here. I don't think I have any other placeholders, so I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now, if that was a little confusing for you, one thing that you can do to help with this text box and this input is you can actually pull up ChatGPT, preferably O3 like a reasoning model, or you can pull up Claude. I'm using Opus 4 in this example, where I can basically take a screenshot of whatever automation I'm working on and basically say, I need help with these text inputs. Here's the automation. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. You are an expert in SEO. I need you to put SEO best practices in these inputs that will allow my article to rank high on Google for my target keyword. Now, obviously, we would change this depending on if it's another type of automation, but you see where I'm going here. And then it's going to give you an input that you could come in here, copy and paste, and then come back to your module with Claude and paste it in this text box. It's not going to be perfect. You're definitely going to want to read over this and make sure that it has everything that you need. But this is a dang good start of doing it versus if you have no idea what to put in here at all. So once this is done, I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now, one thing I like to do is rename this. So I'm going to do SEO blog post writer. I'm going to click save again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and I'm actually going to clone this and put this on the other side of my router. I'm going to delete the old one that was right there. And the reason I'm doing this is this will allow me to test the outputs to a Google Doc versus just posting it straight to my website. Now, you don't have to do this if you don't want. This is just something that I prefer. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start with this bottom module. I'm going to click add another module. I'm going to type in Google Docs, and then I'm going to click Google Docs. And then what I'm going to do is click create a document. Now, I already have my connection to Google established, and I also have a folder already created, ready to go in my Google Drive account called YouTube to Blog Post Drafts. So I'm going to come back to my make automation. For the name, I'm just going to leave it as the video title, and I'm going to do, let's do draft. That'll be the title of the new Google Doc that's created. For the content, I need to come in here and under this Claude module, click the content dropdown. And then what we want to do is click text. This is going to pull that output from the text part of that Claude module. Now it's in my drive. I'm going to click here to choose a folder. And let's see if I can find that YouTube to blog post drafts. There it is right there. And then I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to click save again. So now let's come back to the top part and actually integrate our website with this automation. And I use WordPress, but you could also use Webflow, Shopify, whatever your CMS is. You want to go ahead and click add another module and then search for your CMS right here to try to sync it via API. I'd recommend just using WordPress. That's what I've been using for several years now. So I'm going to type in WordPress, click WordPress module, click create a post. And this is a very important step here if you are using WordPress. Obviously, you need to establish your connection. And in order to do that, I'm going to pull up my WordPress dashboard. You need to install a plugin. So on plugins on the bottom left, click add plugin. And the plugin that you need to install is called the Make Connector. And so what you want to do is click install now. Obviously, mine's already active and installed, but this is the plugin right here, the Make Connector. It has over 70,000 active installations. And so once you install the Make Connector, this will integrate your WordPress site to make.com. Now, for the YouTube or for the WordPress title, I'm simply just going to leave this exactly the same as my YouTube video title. Same with the blog post title. For the content, I'm going to go ahead and under the Anthropic module, click the content dropdown and then click text. Now for the type, I want this as a post. Now for the excerpt, I'm just going to leave that blank. I don't really care too much about that. For the date, what you can actually do is we can do publish time. So this will take the same date that that YouTube video was published on. For the slug, I actually just like to leave this as the title. And then before I come in, I'll alter it, maybe optimize a little more before I just click publish. Now, status, this is very important. I want this as a draft. I don't want to directly publish this to my website right away. Once my inputs are more dialed and I'm testing it, maybe things go better, I definitely want to do that eventually where I would just click publish, but I would always put it in draft first. So for format, just leave this as is. Parent object ID, leave that as is. If you have a category that you want to post these as, definitely select that category. It's pulling this from my WordPress site. I'm just going to leave it blank. For tags, I'm going to leave those blank. For author, I'm going to put my name, that's the author, on my website. And then I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to click save again. So technically, this automation should now be ready to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click auto align so we can kind of see the full automation here. I'll pull it up because my camera's kind of getting in the way. But now what you want to do is I would recommend right-clicking this YouTube module. I would click choose where to start, and then I would click choose manually. This is a good way to test these types of automations. What I'm going to do for this blog post, I'm going to do, let's do my most recent YouTube video called What is Vibe Marketing? Click save, and then we're ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click run once. And I want to just make sure that both of these are working. I'm going to skip ahead and wait till this output is complete. All right, so in about 60 seconds, this automation is now complete and it ran through successfully. And I know this because there are no error messages. If you get an error message, you would go ahead and click it and try to troubleshoot from there, but there are no errors in this instance. But now let's actually check the final results. So let's head over to my Google Drive folder. Here is that new Google Doc that it created. I'm going to double click this, and then here is just a draft of the blog post from that automation. It's not perfect, but one thing that I notice is that the H2 and H3 markdown did not properly format for whatever reason, but that's not a huge deal, as let's come to my WordPress site and I'll notice right here, there is my new blog post. I'm going to go ahead and click preview and let's actually see what this looks like. So once this is loading, the title's correct, SEO title, meta description, here's the intro, and it did format this correctly in terms of the H2, H3 markdown. Key takeaways, here's another header here in H3. It even included my placeholder where I embed the YouTube video on that topic. So I would embed all my YouTube videos inside my blog post, as that does help a little bit, push more traffic to the YouTube video, helps with on-page SEO, etc. Now, very important point to make here. If I click publish, this is not going to move the needle whatsoever. You still need to fine-tune this. Make things look nice, add images, add internal and external links, and other elements of on-page SEO that actually move the needle if you want to rank for desired keywords. So that's just the automation in a nutshell of how you can repurpose YouTube videos into SEO optimized blog posts. Going forward, I would probably just remove this path or just unlink it. That way now we can simply, I'm just going to actually delete this module, delete again. Now we can simply just come in here and start posting directly to our WordPress site in drafts so we can review it before it goes live. So if you've made it this far into the video, first of all, I appreciate you. If you found value in me showing you this automation for repurposing YouTube videos to SEO optimized blog posts, be sure to give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And again, if you want my template, my JSON file, all the instructions that I showed for those inputs in the Claude modules, be sure to look at my community that only costs $1 to join. I will leave that link in the video description below. But guys, most importantly, I hope you all have a great day.